Every couple of weeks, I feel like there's a new AI model coming out that blows my mind. The stuff it can do is insane. We've got full videos that are coming out now. Stock footage is just dead. It's going to change the way that almost everyone in the world goes about their day-to-day life, and the rate that it is improving at is truly astonishing. But at the same time, I'm scared of AI because of people's jobs, people using it for nefarious reasons like stealing art or faking news, and just altogether content in general that I love, that I respect, getting lazy. Especially in the D&D world, where pretty soon, I'm sure it's already happening, we're going to end up with full books of creatures and monsters and items and full adventures, and we're not going to know if they were drawn and written by people, which took 5 months to create, or if they were created in a weekend using AI. We just won't know. But most importantly, as far as AI goes, I'm bored of it. I'm bored of this limbo it's put me in. On one side, it feels like it's moving faster than anything has ever. And on the other side, it feels like it's moving really slow because we can't do anything with it yet, really. Feels like we're constantly almost there, but we never actually get there. But there is one side of AI that I am quite excited about, and that I think we will get to quite soon, and that is as a tool to help play D&D. So in March, there was the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, the GDC, and there's a bunch of generative AI-powered technologies shown off. And it's mostly showcasing the more experiential tools. Is that supposed to be experimental? And this has a direct connection to D&D because the experimental AI here is all about NPCs. And as you know, probably, if you're watching this video about Dungeons & Dragons, NPCs are a huge part of a D&D game. Normally controlled, written, and role-played by the Dungeon Master, a human. This CNET journalist got to see some of this NPC technology firsthand in a sample game scenario. Now, he sat down at a computer like a video game, but in the game, he would walk up to a NPC, and rather than have prompts in-game to choose or buttons to press, all he had to do was speak into the microphone, and the NPC would respond to them. The game had multiple NPCs that the journalist could talk to, and they would respond as if the journalist was there in the space. These NPCs would have personalities and full backstories. And now, if you're thinking, okay, so are we going to lose even more jobs for writers now who write backstories and things like that? Well, an NVIDIA spokesperson said that writers still make the full backstory for every NPC. It's just that the dialogue is generated by AI. I personally think this is a lot of rubbish. I think ChatGPT now can write up a full character backstory pretty easily. I do think writers' jobs in the video game industry, let's just say it's a very dangerous time for them right now. Well, that's another video. At this same event, Ubisoft also showed off some very similar software. And this time the journalist leaned into it and decided to roleplay it a little bit and improvise a little bit. When asked if he was ready for questions, the journalist said, "It's cool with me, Daddy-o." To which the NPC replied, "Wow, you really are a cool cat. Anyways, what do you want to talk about?" From the player's side in the game of D&D, this is an NPC interaction. And in fact, in some ways, it's kind of more fair because the NPC doesn't really know the overall game, doesn't have any wants or needs like a dungeon master might. It's just going to respond how the AI thinks it genuinely would without caring about what's in the next room or what the character's motivations are, which is good and bad. Well, the point is, the technology is there now. If you wanted to boot up a fantasy Dungeons & Dragons NPC shopkeeper, grab a microphone and roleplay with them, they would be able to tell you what they have in the shop. You'd be able to barter with them. They'd have a voice. They'd have quirks. They'd have a personality. They could send you off on quests. And I see no reason why this totally could not be incorporated into a D&D game. For example, just setting up a microphone and a speaker at your table live in person or doing it online. The DM still plans the game, plans out everything, plans the story, and acts as a referee during the game. But when players want to interact with NPCs, the DM can just sit back and let that happen with an AI, which is great for some DMs out there who maybe aren't that into role-playing NPCs. Now, right now with Ubisoft's technology specifically, the NPCs don't actually account for your tone of voice, but that's on purpose. Just because they don't want to punish anyone for speaking quietly or people who are shy but still want to get the full experience from the interaction. It's also just not perfect technology yet. At one point, the journalist jumped ahead a couple of steps in the story, if you will, by, I guess, jumping around certain things in the conversation. The NPC also didn't remember what solutions they'd previously pitched, so there's like a memory issue. And some people just failed in the game because when they were talking, they didn't use direct enough language or talk with enough confidence. But still, this stuff is scary, and as a D&D fan, we do need to talk about it because it is going to change this industry and this game forever. And let me be clear here, I don't think D&D, the way we play it now, is going to go anywhere. I think there's always going to be that core experience, that social game. In the same way we still play Monopoly, the same old way we did 50 years ago. I don't know when Monopoly came out. But I do think online D&D will probably change forever because it's just going to become way more easily to handle everything using AI. And I, for one, as a DM, like playing NPCs, but I also like the idea of not worrying about it at all. And if I was playing online, just letting my players talk to an AI and me listening to the outcome and then deciding what's going to happen environmentally. I don't get to decide what the players do. I don't get to decide what the NPCs do. I'm just there to act as a referee and guardrails and keep everything kind of on track. That excites me. That would allow the whole group and the AI to tell a collaborative story in a way that I've never experienced before. I also think with this technology, a new type of D&D could emerge, where the DM just never roleplays even at their home table. I also think solo D&D, where just one person plays it with AI, or DM-less D&D, where everyone is just a player and the DM is an AI, will become incredibly popular. I love being a DM, but sometimes I don't want to DM. Sometimes I want to play, and I can't. This would be a way for me to play D&D with my friends as a fellow player. I also think DM-only D&D is going to become a thing, where one human sits down and DMs a game for a bunch of AI. You get to decide the outcomes, you get to decide the overall story. You can even roleplay NPCs yourself as if you were a normal DM, but the AI acts as the players, telling you what they want to do and you doing your best to facilitate it all. And obviously this is just scratching the surface. I spoke with someone in the D&D publishing and online industry recently, and I was telling them about my concerns about AI just destroying publishing in general, and that all books are going to be written and illustrated by AI, and they're still selling them at $70. And I realized I'm thinking way too small. And the person I was talking to told me actually what's probably going to happen is D&D books are not going to exist anymore. There's going to be no need for them. Pre-written adventures can be generated from your home computer. You can sit down at the table for your session. You can type in what happened last session and type in maybe a few prompts for you kind of want to happen this session, and the AI would just pump out the full adventure for you, ready to go. It can also change things on the fly as you need it. Why buy a new monster manual when you can just type in, create me a monster, and it will just give you one there and then? And if you don't like it, just redo. And then redo again. Why buy a book full of magic items when you can do the same thing, but the magic items can be tailored to your players' characters and your players and what they want? But I do think that's a while off, but I think it's going to come faster than we think. In the short term though, with this NPC technology, it is crazy to think that pre-made adventures come with full NPCs, with their stat blocks, with their descriptions, with their backgrounds. We currently buy these in books, and the idea that you can just buy pre-made NPC AI online and drop that into any of your adventures is kind of crazy to me. This is kind of what it looks like when you're creating an AI using the NVIDIA technology. As you can see, they can change their mood and their personality, and they can put in tags to say, oh, they're strong, tough, determined, or stubborn. And this is in general what their technology looks like right now.
World Engine allows game developers to add multimodal AI agents, narratives, and worlds that respond to players' actions. Every player will have a unique experience of Covert Protocol because NPCs dynamically adapt to the decisions and actions they take in the game. In-world NPCs can perceive the world around them, learn and adapt, deliver nuanced performances, and autonomously initiate actions.
I'm sure he'll be thrilled to receive such a top-secret, life-altering parcel. I'll go confirm it myself. Excuse me.
You get the drift. This technology is pretty crazy. As you can see here, they put in knowledge and cognition, and they've just filled it out, and the AI just takes the information and makes it happen. Now, the craziest thing is, and the reason why I do have kind of AI fatigue, is that we've known we can kind of do this for a while. I feel like we've had mods in like Skyrim where you can talk to multiple NPCs at the same time using a microphone, and AI responds.
Greetings, Jarl. I come bearing bad news. In my possession, I have a letter.
Present your letter and let us see what matter requires attention.
I know that with that man alive, the Stormcloak Rebellion will fail.
You've got a point there. We can't let him reach the Imperial Army intact. A knife in the back might be good for him.
You make a good point, brother.
Like, there's NPCs in Skyrim using mods right now that can send you on entire new quest lines on your own. But the craziest thing to me is that this is Nvidia and Ubisoft showing this stuff that works right now. And you know the technology they're kind of showing off? They're much further down the line than that behind the doors. They're just showing what they've polished right now. It's got to the point now where I'm looking at the senior manager of strategic partnerships at Nvidia,
technologies that helps developers.
and I'm thinking to
bring
myself, is that an AI? I can't tell nowadays. And I honestly personally believe that within the next couple of years, D&D on average is going to look very different from the way it looks now. What do you guys think? Do you think you're going to be playing D&D differently in 5 years' time? Do you think AI will have a place in any way, shape or form at your table? I'd be really interested to know. And subscribe.